Every product launch should use 3D product renders, but the thing is, most kind of suck. If you got good ones that look like this and this and this, then you can have launches that look like this and this and this. I'm Mark, and for the last 13 years, my team and I at LaunchBoom have helped over 1,000 founders raise over $210 million through crowdfunding. And in this video, I'm gonna walk you through the 5 biggest mistakes that make 3D product renders fall flat and exactly how to fix each one. I called up my friend Gianluca, the founder of IAS, to help me with this video. They're the team who's produced renders for some of the biggest crowdfunding launches ever. We have a lot to go through, so let's dive into mistake number 1. 80% of what makes a product render good is this.
Materials, textures, lighting are the 3 main players in the rendering game.
Get any of these 3 things wrong and the 3D render just doesn't look realistic anymore. It kind of looks off, and consumers can pick up on that. Let me show you what I mean. Here are 2 renders of the same product, a pair of sunglasses. Bad one on the left, good one on the right. Start with the lighting. Look at the bad one. There are no realistic shadows, no reflections, nothing grounds it. Now look at the good one. You can see exactly how the light is hitting it. Now the materials. On the bad one, it's not clear what the thing is even made of. It just reads as a flat black color. Could be plastic, could be metal, could be anything. On the good one, you know instantly what you're looking at. And the textures are the same story. Because the lighting is flat and the material isn't clear, you can't pick up on the texture at all. It looks like the same surface all the way through. The good one has that realism because you can actually see the texture. It's pretty clear which one looks better and more realistic. And that's the one that's gonna perform better when it's used in the marketing. So be careful when evaluating 3D artists to hire. Make sure you look at the quality of the lighting, materials, and textures in their examples in their portfolio. But even if you've nailed these 3 things, you can still end up with renders that don't sell, which brings us to mistake number 2. Most creators think about renders one shot at a time. I need a hero shot, I need a lifestyle shot, I need an exploded view. This is the wrong way to think about it. Every single render you create should be part of a larger narrative with the goal to convert that viewer into a customer. Gianluca has a 6-point framework he likes to use, and these are 6 story beats every product needs to tell across its renders. And to show you what it looks like in the real world, IAS sent over an actual set they produced for a glamping property. It was a boutique A-frame cabin out in the woods. So let me walk you through all 6 beats using their real renders. 1, the biggest problem or desire, what your customer actually wants. Don't show your product here, show the longing. For a cabin in the middle of nowhere, what the customer wants is to get away from people. So the first shot isn't the cabin, it's a packed city bridge, crowds of people on their commute. That's the life they're trying to escape. 2, the current frustration or what they put up with today. Same city, but now you're in the car, stuck bumper to bumper in traffic, going nowhere. That's the daily grind made visual, the thing they're sick of. 3, the desired transformation. What life looks like once they've got it. Now, the same car is out of the city, driving free down an open mountain road with forest on every side. It's the same car, completely different life. That's the escape they're buying. 4, the product solution. This is one mechanism, one outcome, not a complete spec dump. And this is where most creators trip up. They try to cram 12 callouts into one render, trying to show off every feature. Just don't do that. Here, it's just the hero shot of the cabin itself tucked into the trees at golden hour. Not square footage, not a list of amenities, the one thing that matters. This is where you get to stay. 5, the proof or trust. You need to really show that the product is real and they can trust it. The render fantasy only sells if backers believe it actually exists. So you show real people there, a couple on the deck, relaxed, happy, clearly enjoying it. Real humans in the space tells your customer this isn't a fantasy, it's a place you can actually go to. 6, the reason to act now. Urgency plus the call to action. This is the intimate close-up that makes someone want it right now. In this case, a steaming mug of coffee by the fire as the light drops. Then you drop your CTA right on top of it. Now booking, first guest save 30%. And you've turned that craving into a reason to act today. Here's the rule. Every render you create should be tied to one of those 6 story beats. If you can't tell me which beat a render is hitting, that render shouldn't exist. All right, so narrative is done. The next mistake is using the wrong type of render for the job. There are three ways to produce visual assets: CGI renders, real photography, and hybrid, which is real and CGI mashed together. The strongest campaigns use all three, but most creators only use one. Starting with CGI, this is your workhorse. It's how you do everything photography literally can't. Exploded views, infinite zooms, close-ups on tiny chip in the middle of your product in places you can't physically take it.
With CGI, you can do everything behind your desk in a real footage, because you can't explode the product, showing all the different components that the product is made of. That's where the CGI is most effective.
Real photography fills specific gaps, proof shots, behind the scenes, and lifestyle when you can actually shoot the location. Hybrid is the heavy lifter. Use it for hero shots where you need the trust of a real photo with the control of CGI, or for lifestyle scenes and locations you can't realistically film. And if your prototype isn't camera ready yet, you're going CGI and hybrid for pretty much everything.
CGI and renderings can help you to convey the future vision of that project. We bring the vision to life before it even exists.
That's what your campaign is doing, selling a product that doesn't exist yet. And CGI is how you show people what it looks like when it does. Hey, real quick, I wanna give you something for free. If you wanna go way deeper into how to launch a Kickstarter campaign, then you can download the audiobook version of my best-selling book, Crowdfunded. It has 4.7 out of 5 stars from 364 reviews on Amazon, where you can buy it right now, or you can get the audiobook version for free by clicking the link below. Hope you like it. All right, on to mistake number 4. Most creators see a successful Kickstarter campaign with this beautiful library of visual assets and try to recreate all of it on day one, before they have any data on what their audience actually wants. That's the wrong move. The right approach is to build out incrementally based on data and reuse everything. Start small for validation, a couple of great hero renders and a 15 to 30 second product teaser. That's it. Run it, see if the concept resonates. If it doesn't, you haven't burned your budget on a full asset library you'll throw away. Once you've validated, build out the full set for pre-launch. This is where the bulk of your render investment happens. Why? Because your pre-launch landing page needs how it works, benefits and lifestyle comparison, and proof shots to convert visitors into email reservations. If you don't have all those during the pre-launch, your funnel is going to underperform. Now for the launch and post-launch, you're mostly gonna reuse these assets. Your Kickstarter campaign page uses the assets you already produced. You just add a few new renders for specific moments, but the heavy lifting is pretty much done. Post-launch adds delivery and unboxing photography on top. All right, last mistake, and this one's the tough one, because it's the question of whether you should even be doing any of this yourself. So how much of this can you actually just do yourself, especially with AI? Well, the honest answer is not much. Just like any technical skill, it takes time to be good at it, and AI just isn't good enough yet. But Gianluca still recommends that you use AI.
What they can do is to explore with AI. Today they have AI that can convey to professionals like me the exact things that they would like to see for their product.
So AI is kind of like your sketchpad, and a pro is your delivery system. You can use AI to clarify your vision, brief better, and communicate to your render artist what you actually want. Those are the 5 biggest mistakes that make 3D product renders suck, and how to fix every single one. If you got any value from this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you want more videos like this. Oh, and real quick, renders are just one piece of the puzzle. If you're like most people, you probably still feel a little lost on the rest of the launch. Well, I've got an in-depth guide where I walk you through how to launch a Kickstarter, and it's right on over here. So click on it and I'll see you on over there.